Good morning, everyone. This is Rob with the CASA Corner. Just out here on a beautiful Phoenix Monday morning. Taking some self-care. Just finished up yesterday evening with a 5-day intensive training with the attach.org organization. Mary Jo and Craig from Attach did this amazing training with about, I think there was about 10 of us for 5 days at our Embark office here down in Phoenix, and just an incredible time to be together and have some intense role plays, some actual practical experience with really teaching how to do an attachment-based model, learning about the neurobiology of attachment, specifically looking at relinquishment and adoption and some parts of foster care that certainly pose a challenge, and it's a different way to look at things and provide treatment. Excited to have those therapists who are part of that engage in a certification program that they're getting certified. Well, part of what I wanted to talk about this morning was flow state. You might ask, what is flow state? Well, I'm out here riding my bike because I know that I need to get into what we call flow state. And Mihaly, and his last name is very long and complicated, but he's a very famous positive psychologist and did a bunch of research on what the flow state is. And flow state is really, in its simplest terms, becoming immersed. When an individual becomes immersed in their activity, where time seems to slip away, you forget about the outside world, you get completely and holistically entrenched in the activity that you're doing in the moment. Why is flow state important? Well, flow state's important because we know the research talks about when you get immersed and you enter into these activities, that helps with integration of your brain. Now, what does that mean? It's about making the implicit, those implicitly stored memories, more integrated, more explicit, so we have more consciousness around our unconscious. Hence, isn't that what therapy really is about making the implicit explicit? So let's talk a little bit about the flow state. Flow state has two main ingredients. When you're in that flow state, to talk about criteria, one is having the right amount of challenge or stretch to your skill set. When you're doing an activity where you're pushed, let's use an example like rock climbing. Lots of rock climbers get into the flow state. They're being stretched, they're being challenged, not too much. Not overly stretched, but not understretched where they're not challenged. So there's a certain amount of challenge. So I would encourage you to think about, what do you do in your life where you get into that place where you have the right amount of stretch, the right amount of challenge to your skill set. For me, it's sailing. For me, it can be surfing. Right now, it's mountain biking, just testing my challenge to ride on this dirt path. You can see I'm on the canal here. Riding on the dirt path, I'm pushing myself just enough to get into that challenge. The other ingredient is called feedback, and it's specifically unambiguous feedback, meaning that you need instantaneous response so you can make adjustments, fine adjustments to improve that skill set challenge that you're making. So if you think about rock climbing gives you very unambiguous immediate feedback. Adjusting your hand, you missed a hand hold, a foot hold, you slip away. Love to talk about sailing. Sailing for me is a flow state. One is it's pushing my skill set, but two, it gives me immediate feedback. Holding on to that main sheet or that line that adjusts the sail, I can feel the wind. Holding on to that tiller, holding on to that control of the tiller gives you immediate feedback of the boat, so we can make fine adjustments. And all at once, we get into this harmonious state of adjusting our skill set, getting feedback, and in that state, time disappears. Well, think about therapy should be that practice. Spending time with people. I'd like to talk about asking the question, is being a nurturing parent, can that be an actual flow state type of experience? Absolutely. If you think about you're being stretched, if you're nurturing a child, being stretched with your skill set, and is that child going to give you immediate feedback, unambiguous feedback? Well, if you're attuned to them, they will, and you'll have a certain amount of pleasure in that experience. So, flow state, absolutely important. I think it's essential, especially through Embark, that we push people, we challenge not only us, but our employees and those families that we work with. How are you getting into this flow state to really get into a state of integration? That's that place of healing. And flow state is essential. I talk to therapists about you need to engage in that flow state to make sure that what? You're living a healthy life, that you're getting a real sense of reward and experience pleasantness in your life and your career. So, this is Rob, Monday morning, riding along the canal, just getting to enjoy a little bit of flow state and just pass a little bit on to you guys. I'll be next week, I'll be in Utah training at one of our programs called Sunrise and be able to do a broadcast from there. All right, everybody, bye-bye.